Well, hello everyone, and man, oh man, am I missing you again. I am sorry about the delay in content. It's been very hard with a house full of muses, young muses who, are still learning volume control. Speaking of volume control, today's upload is an old video I recorded a long time ago, which I later yeeted because I didn't have a nicer setup. But it's an excellent story, and I wanted to revisit it and repost it. So because I still have the file, just go ahead and enjoy it. And it's called If the Music Stops, He Is Close. Well, do you think you're all set? A few weeks ago, I saw an ad on Craigslist to a house because they needed a house sitter for one night. So on Craigslist, this couple lived about an hour away from me, and we live in the country. We both, because they were like an hour away. So we're way in the country. It did seem a little strange that their house was in the middle of nowhere, and yet they wanted someone to watch their house. But I was not going to question it, though. They were offering $150 to watch their house for one night. As a young adult who just moved away from my parents, this sounded amazing to me. When I arrived at the house and talked to them, they seemed nice enough. They didn't act strange or flustered. They just said they wanted to get out of the house for a night. The man showed me around the very large house, never telling me his name, but leading me around, leading me to the kitchen, saying that I could help myself to any of its contents, so on. He also showed me to the room I was going to be sleeping in. The room contained a small TV and a very large, very comfortable bed. I was actually looking forward to spending the night. Yes, sir, I think we're good to go. I watched his expression change to worry in an instant. Oh, there is one more thing, he said. Yes, sir? I asked. He motioned me back downstairs and led me to a strange box-shaped machine on the table in the living room. There were only 2 buttons on the box, green and red. He pushed the green button, and in an instant, music started to play. The music was just a 5-second loop of what sounded like basic stock music, like elevator music or what have you. It was just a few notes on guitar with some drums in the background. If this music stops playing, it means that he is close, he said. Who is he? I asked, concerned. His face changed back to a normal state, and then he smiled. Don't worry. You probably won't have to worry about that. But in the event that it does stop, go up to your room, turn the TV on. It will be static. Once you have the TV on static, turn it up to max volume and pop these in. With that, he handed me 2 foam earplugs. Once you have the earplugs in and the TV on static, just close your eyes and ignore any urges you have to open your eyes or take out the earplugs. What are you talking about? I asked, starting to get worried. Calm down, calm down. I can almost guarantee it isn't going to happen, he said. He then walked outside and to the car where his wife was waiting. They pulled out of the driveway and left. I stood there, stunned, and I didn't know what to think. Was the man playing a cruel joke on me? For a second, I considered leaving, but then I considered that maybe the man had some issues. He was just imagining everything. So I started to walk upstairs to my room, listening to the dumb music loop the whole way. For most of the night, I just sat on my bed going through my phone. I did get up at around 8 to make myself a sandwich in the kitchen, although the sandwich wasn't very good because the bread was stale. I finally decided, time to go to bed. It was 11, and I was still hearing the faint sound of that music downstairs. So, nothing to worry about, I assured myself. I shot up in an instant. There was a strange sound coming from downstairs. It took me a second before I realized it was the music, but the notes were randomly distorting and changing. My heart skipped a beat. I quickly checked to make sure I wasn't dreaming, pinching myself and counting my fingers. I knew I was definitely not dreaming. I grabbed my phone and checked the time. 2:41 a.m. I sat listening to the distorted music for a solid 3 minutes before the sound went completely dead. I couldn't manage a sound out of my mouth. I sat frozen before finally snapping out of it and grabbing the earplugs I put next to my phone, thankfully, and popping them in my ears. I also grabbed the TV remote and hit the power button. Sure enough, when the TV came on, it was complete static. I turned the volume to 100 and covered my ears. I shut my eyes tight and hid under the covers. It felt like only a few minutes. In these few minutes, I felt a sharp pain on my left leg. I grabbed it and screamed with pain. At one point, I found myself about to pull out my earplugs without even thinking about it. Horrified, I stopped myself from doing something that could be incredibly stupid. I laid there, hearing whispers come and go around me. I couldn't make out what they were saying. What felt like only a few more minutes went by. After feeling something touch my feet, I let out a scream. The covers were thrown up, and I started to scream even louder. At that moment, my earplugs were ripped out. "Are you all right then?" I heard someone say. I opened my eyes and looked up. The TV was off, and I saw the man standing next to me by the bed. "You must have had a bad dream," he said with a smile. Then I got up, grabbed my phone, and charged downstairs and out of the house. I noticed that the music was still playing as I ran out. I got in my car and started to pull out of the driveway when I noticed the man standing in the doorway holding my money in his hand. At that point, I didn't care. I took off and didn't look back. Throughout the day, I started to accept that I must have just been dreaming the whole thing. I should have taken the money that I earned and needed. That night, when I got into the hot shower, I felt something on my leg. It hurt. It was a burn. "Ouch," I said before I looked down at my burned leg. It wasn't a burn. There was a large scratch down my left leg. And yes, you may notice quite a difference in the quality, but I do hope you enjoyed. It's a fabulous, fabulous story. I actually wrote the author again and let him know, look, the last one I deleted because it was on my old setup and so on and so forth. So may I please repost it after it's been re-edited? If you like, I can actually re-record the whole thing, but I just wanted to re-edit it and see if we could salvage this great, great story. So I hope you enjoyed, and you will be getting more stuff soon. It's just hard to get quiet time to record. All right, you guys, talk to you soon. Bye now.